Hello everyone, I'm Dinakar and today I'm going to present my project, an AI-based travel planner. I'll show you how I'm using Docker and Docker Compose to build and run this full stack application. So first to begin with, what is Docker? The easiest way to think about it is if you build an application on a laptop, like it might break on your friend's computer because they're missing a library or the way you have used it, or they might have a wrong software version or wrong software configuration. So this problem arises. But this is where when Docker solves this. It's a tool that lets us package our entire application to one code. The libraries, the server, the code, everything it needs into a single neat box called as a container. And the container can then run on any machine with Docker. And this guarantees that works exactly the same way. So the Docker files, the tale of two containers. For this project, I have used two services, a front-end container and a back-end container, and each one gets its own Docker file. Let's quickly look at the front-end Docker file. This one is very simple because it just needs to serve a static website. So here it goes. This from Nginx Alpine. This is Docker to use the official Nginx web server as a base. The Alpine tag means like we are using a tiny, small, an efficient version. This command run rm minus rf users share endings HTML. This endings image comes with a like a default welcome page, and this run command simply removes those files and to make room for our website. The third line copy. And this copy command takes my website's index.html file and copies it into the web server's main directory inside the container. And finally, we expose it to port 80. And we also have a similar Docker file for a backend, which would be based on a Python or a Node image. And we'll copy the server code and install it like in a Flask or Express days. Then going on to the Docker Compose file, like we have two containers. How do we run them together? How do they find each other? For that, we use Docker Compose. That's where Docker Compose comes in. It's a tool for defining and running multi-container applications. We write one file, docker compose.yml, to manage our entire application. So here is the docker compose.yml file for this project, and let's break this down. So there goes the version and services. First uh, is a front-end service. So build.frontend distills to compose and build the image using the Docker file inside the front-end folder. And I have defined the container name, and here we are defining the ports to be exposed, and this depends on backend. So first we have to open the backend, then so this ensures that first the backend is open, then we run the front end. Like backend is the server part. And then coming to the backend again, we got the build backend. This builds the packages and the container name and IME file. And this is a great security feature. It tells Docker to load secret APIs key from a .dme file, so we don't have to write them directly into our code. And then we expose the port 5000 for the backend part. So let me give a overall view. So the user opens a browser and goes to the local host, and that like I'll be showing a demonstration on that. Before that, I'll explain the overall workflow. So the user opens the browser and goes to the local host. The front-end container serves the HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript for the website, and the user fills in the form for the destination, like their travel plan, their destination, budget, or the number of days, the how do you go, and so on. And then the user clicks generate button. So the JavaScript in the front end does not talk to the AI. Instead, it sends an API call, like API request to the backend container. Docker's internal networking lets the front end find the backend services easily. And the backend container or Python or Node server receives the request. It securely loads the secret API from its environment and makes a real API call to the external AI model. Here we are using Gemini API, and then the AI sends the travel plan back to our backend, and the backend sends the plan as a clean JSON response back to the front end. Finally, the front-end JavaScript receives the JSON and displays the full itinerary to the user. Let me show you a demo. So I'll go to the Docker desktop, and here you can see both the containers. I'll run this part. Now this is local hosted in the port 8080. So here goes the travel planner website. Now here I'll enter my details, my name, my age, the destination. So the destination, let me, what shall we choose? Let's choose Pondicherry. Pondicherry, start date. We'll go from tomorrow to a 3 day trip to Pondi. The total budget should fix around 15,000 rupees. Number of people is just to me and my friend. So now, yeah, we can click on generate travel plan. So now it sends a request to the API, which is working in the backend. The server is running in the backend, 5000 port. And again, it sends this modified content to here. So let us wait. The plan is getting generated. Yeah, our plan successfully got generated, just given us the overweight accommodation, travel recommendations, the daily itinerary, day one, day two, all the plans for all the days we have got it, and then our budget. You can even download this file as a PDF. I've included this as a feature, and you can see the file being downloaded over here, and the overall plan is there in this PDF. So to conclude, as you can see, this two container architecture is much more powerful and secure. And the front end only worries about being a good looking website, and the back end handles all the heavy lifting and the secret API keys. Docker and Docker Compose makes this complex service as a simple service using a microservice architecture, which is incredibly simple to define, build, and run with just one command, Docker Compose. And so, thank you for watching.